What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, once again, Pitts from Pitts and Foot Sports Talk Radio, Pitt Sports Zone, coming to you live from Morgan State University, here with the offensive coordinator, Coach Sherman. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I can't complain.
Good.
If you can, man, before we jump into the questions, you can just give the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself.
Again, it's a B.T. Sherman. This is year 21 or 22 for me. Been a coordinator at Norfolk State, Howard University. Was a coordinator here before. Coached high school in Cincinnati for a couple of years and everything. So I've been around.
So when it comes to coaching, and did you play?
I did play. I did play a long time ago. A long time ago, I played. I got into coaching. I was kind of pushed into it from some guys that coached me. I listened to my coaches all the way through, and then when I got done playing, I said, "Hey, now what do I do next?" And the next thing you know, they gave me a whistle. And here we are, 20-some odd years later.
And I was going to ask you, what has it been a desire for you or of you to coach?
Never thought of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And when you talk about, so of course the coaches that suggested it, you took their thoughts and their recommendations with great sincere thought, because you followed ahead and you're still in that path. So when you talk about that, would you consider them to be mentors for you along the way?
Oh, definitely. Everybody I come across, and I try to see them as mentors, and they've been doing it before me. They helped me get to this point, so I try to make sure I don't burn any bridges, and I make sure I remember where I come from and the things that I learned, realize where I got them from.
And it's funny when you say, try not to burn any bridges. That's something that I think within our culture is one of those, we have individuals that will help, guide and direct us. And then once we get to that pivotal moment of the height of wherever we are, it appears to be I, and not a, thank you, or this person.
Definitely. I still talk to guys who got me into coaching. Of course, the relationship changes with position and things like that. Talk to guys I've coached with, guys I've coached under, or whatever, and guys who've been under me. I just try to keep that thing going, because you never know who's going to be where and what information you're going to need. It's all useful.
When you talk about, being the offensive coordinator, when you talk about your play calling or your plays specifically, are those plays that you love doing, or are those plays that you kind of picked up along the way that you like the idea of, and you kind of created your own along the way?
So it's a mixture of everything. It's one, of course, things that I've learned along the way. Two, things that are comfortable to me, and that I've had success with. And three, what can my guys do? And it's about putting guys in position to have success. So there's been some experiences where, hey, I've got a kid that like to do it this way, and because I've had all of these experiences, I'm able to group things in certain categories and use them and put them away and come back and get them later on. And then I still learn along the way.
Would you consider yourself, whenever you're taking a bunch of young men from different backgrounds, from different cities and states, do you consider, do you look at yourself as once was of how you looked at your previous coaches?
Yeah, I try to. And again, I got into coaching, and I really trusted my coaches and what they said. So I try to give the same and be the same person that my coach was to me.
When you being an offensive coordinator, do you intentionally form relationships with each offensive player, or how do you go about in regards to connecting and not just learning about what they can do on the field, but understanding that whatever background or where they come from, those are things that you have to take into consideration when dealing with players as such.
Yeah, so not just offensively, anytime I get a chance to deal with any player, and things come with time. Of course, I would love to know every offensive player a little more than I would others, but anytime you have the opportunity to get to know a player and understand where he comes from, because all the coaches that helped me might not have been necessarily my position coach or even coach my side of the ball, but we developed a relationship. So I just try to keep it open. Yes, it does help you knowing the individual when you call them plays and knowing what they can do. But it's bigger than that. It's about knowing everybody and helping them along the way because it's bigger than football.
Absolutely. We talk about this season, and although our our schedule or our wins losses won't reflect what we would like it to be.
Mhm.
However, Morgan has never laid down offensively and defensively. There were games, Towson game. There was games where going into the fourth quarter, it was a double digit, and there was a force to overtime. Talk about the mindset of your team, even in those moments.
It's just a process of learning and knowing how to win. And when you're playing football, you just got to realize you got to play that play. Everything, whether you're up or down, the more you play that play and focus on that play, the better you give yourself a chance. And then at the end of it, wherever you are, that's where you are. But as long as you're concentrating on your job and you're getting your job done to the best of your ability, you can't expect anymore. Especially when we're in the process of building a program. It doesn't happen overnight. It's, as much as we would like it to.
Right, steps to
it's still a process.
When you talk about, as I was alluding to, like with your teams, the composure, their mindset, they don't give up, they're willing to fight. I believe in, attitude reflects leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And in those moments, you don't appear to panic either as well. You can just talk about, what goes through you that just keeps that composure. Like, I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to react because I still have a moment or a chance to basically show it. Like, so what goes through that process?
The thing, one is knowing if I panic, the players will panic. Whatever I do, they're probably going to do. Then the other thing is, life is much bigger than this game.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot that we put into it, but you still got to stay calm. It's still a game.
Yeah.
There's still ways to do things and all that. And crying about it, going crazy, or quitting, that doesn't exist to me. You can't do that in life and all that. So I try to treat the game the same way. Hey, whatever it is, we'll take it and then we do what we need to do to move forward.
The game also gives players the chance to travel, some of which, like, me coming from Pittsburgh, not something I ever thought I would do, So it gives them an opportunity, as you said, it's not just about the game of football. It gives them things in life that they may not have seen themselves doing.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, it also contributes to how they carry themselves off the field, when it comes to their punctuality or their discipline, or being able to, follow the script of life. And even when hiccups come along, it doesn't throw you too much or too far off course.
Mm-hmm. It's the thing is this game teaches you a lot. It teaches you a lot if you're willing to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the only way you learn it is to go through it.
Yeah.
To go through it. And so the way I like to do things is you always have a situation. All right. You deal with that situation the best you know how at that time. And you go back and review, hey, what could I have done better and everything. And then the more you do that over and over and over, that's where your experience comes in and you find more situations that you deal with better. Or, hey, I would do this a different way and all that. But it really comes down to those phases. Situation, how you deal with it now, what could you have done?
Have you ever reflected, with you being a coach for over 20 years, have you ever reflected and had a similar situation where you
every day, every single
time, but now I react differently.
Yep, every day. Yeah, every day you go back. I'm a big note taker.
Okay.
And I go back and I look at my notes and some I look to just learn along the way. Some I have to know, hey, I had a similar situation like this. Let me go back to that and see what I thought and everything. But if you don't do that, you can't say you're really getting better.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You can share a little bit about the guidance or the leadership of Coach Wilson.
Man, I can't say enough good things about the guy. He's fair. He treats people the right way from top to bottom. He's a regular dude. We're very similar when it comes to, just working and treating people right and, never get too high, never get too low. So he's been a blessing to work with. I know a lot of coaches don't always have that opportunity to work with guys like that, and I'm thankful for it.
Absolutely.
I'm thankful for it, and I really appreciate it more than he probably knows.
When it comes to kind of pivot a little bit back real quick, when it comes to the play calling or whatnot at the tree, does the other coaches do they give input on plays or?
Yes. So what I like to do is make sure everything that we do is we're an offensive staff, and everything that we do, I involve guys in throughout the week. Yes, I'm the one that puts everything together, but everybody has a piece to it. Because good or bad, it's our offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the plan is for everything to go well and people to leave and learn from this offense, take what they know and what they've already learned, and just be a part of it. But yes, we do this all together. We have dialogue throughout the week and during the course of the game. And if guys like or dislike something, you know, they're free to talk. Free to talk and for us to figure this thing out together. I think that's why it's a staff, not just, hey, my offense.
Right. So my final question, if you can give one adverse situation that you may have overcome through coaching, right? And then on top of that, give a moment where it was a joyful moment.
Really right now, in this situation I'm in now, you know, last year we came in here very late, and it's a new staff.
It was extremely late. It was like after spring ball.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was right before camp. The plus side of it, Coach Wilson said, hey, come on, you come and run your offense, your terminology, everything. So I didn't bring a player or a coach. So with that being said, I had to teach everybody everything. And it was some things that I took for granted, you know, a guy working with different guys and everything or whatever. So that was a new experience for me, a good experience.
Yeah.
Learned a lot from it last year. And the plus side of it, I think moving forward to this year, we work better together because now they know and understand me a little more. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Absolutely. It's just that simple. The more you know a person, the more you know their strengths and you know their weaknesses. And me as a coordinator, I like to work with their strengths and keep guys away from their weaknesses. And I like to do the same with myself. So if something's your strength, that's my weakness. Guess what? I'm gonna put more on your plate, you know, than me, and we work together that way. So that's been the plus side of it.
And I know that was the last one, so
that was good. Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier, but it's crazy because regardless of what our record says now, not putting the cart before the horse, right? You know, we went out and some things happen, we can still make the Celebration Bowl. So you talk about, you know, one game at a time, next opponent up. I'm up with South Carolina's the next one on the docket. You know, how do you, is it a task to not have your players looking ahead and focus on a singular moment?
I don't talk ahead.
Well, I mean, what I guess what I meant was if you hear your players thinking it or talking ahead.
I don't acknowledge. That's the thing with because you can't go against it. With social media these days, and kids can look and think however it is they want to think. The more you discuss it, the more they'll think about it. If it's being discussed around me, I won't acknowledge it, and then they'll see I have no interest in talking about anything other than what's going on right now. And that's done. I mean, you've been at practices and you don't see guys just come up to me talking just to talk.
It's business.
Yeah, they come and focus and work, and we work.
And I like that, and I watch, and everybody has their different method, and you know, but you know, from observation, it's business first. We play and talk about everything else after. You know, once we step in between those white lines, there's nothing else but football. Your assignment, your job, and we succeed at it. And then once we step outside the white lines, we can talk about it.
Yeah. And that's how the game is. That's how the game is. So I like to treat practice like the game. I don't know if you notice, because I coach in the box, I'm away from those guys during team periods because they can't rely on me.
And that was a question I wanted to, is there an advantage to coaching in the box?
An advantage and a disadvantage. Yeah, the advantage is I get to see more.
Okay.
It's a comfort zone for me because I've spent probably 75% of my career in the box. So that's the way I see the game. The disadvantage is, you're not hands-on with your guys.
Right.
So it's things that you have to prepare for throughout the week to know, hey, look, they're going to be away from me.
Mm-hmm.
I got to make sure they're away from me doing practice and all that. So it's not anything new.
Right. So it's not foreign.
Mm-hmm.
We already know this is how it's going to be during the game. Let's just execute.
Yeah, but yeah, there's some times, and there's pros and cons to everything, but that's the biggest. I see more, but I don't get the feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, man, I appreciate you for taking this time to sit with me, Coach Sherman, man.
Yeah.
Listen, there's more Morgan State coming to you guys, not going anywhere, here to stay. Me taking over, set the trap. It's your boy Pitts from Pitts and Foot Sports Talk Radio, Pitt Sports Zone. You can again follow us live, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Comcast Channel 77, Verizon Channel 11. You can see all the interviews that will be replaying, re-airing. It's going down. Baltimore, Maryland, Coach Sherman, Offensive Coordinator, Bears, South Carolina, you're on the clock. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you. Yeah.